Hey guys, I'm back with another video, and today we have a really long video, I think it's going to be because I haven't filmed it yet, of going through all the body care single fragrance launch candles in Bath & Body Works history that I still have in my possession. Obviously this is not exhaustive or comprehensive because there's some candles like Love and Sunshine, for example, that I bought and already burned through and it's already gone. So it's not comprehensive or exhaustive, but there are still 27 single fragrance launch candles that we are going to talk about. I got this idea just because I had just purchased Chasing Fireflies from Bath & Body Works very recently, and this just launched. This, of course, is a single fragrance launch. So it used to be called Signature Collection fragrances before. Back in the day was when they would have like a body care launch for like Magic in the Air or 1,000 Wishes or something like that. But then they got away from the Signature Collection, which I guess it didn't really have too much significance to it anyways, and now they're just called Single Fragrance Launch, or SFL fragrances. And so those are like the body care fragrances that usually come out as a standalone release during whatever season, and they now often make candles with them, and they just, for whatever reason, are so much more juicy. It's just, in my opinion, I guess it's just fascinating for me as the standpoint of a designer and I guess working in marketing, is the fact that the single fragrance launches get like the, the biggest hookup in terms of the marketing and the design on it. They usually get a unique bespoke packaging to it, oftentimes like a juicy lid, and then of course they have like a fun, flowery, conceptual, abstract name to them, and it just makes, once again, the fragrances stand out more. And when you think about it, like any fragrance out there that, let's say, comes in a collection of 3 or 4, could be chosen as a single fragrance launch. All it needs is just a name, and then standalone packaging and standalone marketing. So it's just kind of interesting how they develop their standalone fragrances, and the fact that some fragrances will get an SFL hookup versus some others won't. It's just interesting from a marketing and design standpoint. So just kind of wanted to go through it and walk through the history and do a retrospective on all the I guess 27 SFL candles that I have in my possession. So if that interests you, then let's get started. So I think I've always thought that the SFLs were kind of juicy, even back in the day. So I kind of have collected pretty much all the SFLs as they have launched throughout the years. But the first one we have is actually obtained through MOS. So this was before my time at Bath & Body Works, but it's 2009 and it's Black Amethyst, and that's what that looks like. And so you can see here, this one actually says Signature Collection on it, and it just looks like a a Slack & Co type of candle with the photo label. So it didn't really get anything juicy or different. But the bottom label does say just Black Amethyst on it and Signature Collection, and it doesn't even have notes on it. These were 1950 back in the day, and it still says Slack & Co for Bath & Body Works on the bottom warning label, which is kind of interesting, even though everything else about it says Bath & Body Works on it. I did burn this one once, and yikes, it just smells kind of old and musty, and because it is so old, it just didn't pull out or perform very well. Yeah, I don't know, a very mature, powdery floral fragrance that I'm not a huge fan of, but Black Amethyst, I was just like, this is so juicy. It's an MOS and 75% off or whatever. Let me just snag it and call it a day for a collector's purpose. So that was Black Amethyst right there. And then the first one, I mean, maybe there was something else before this, but I think this was really early on in my collecting habits. And it is Paris Amour. And this is actually one of the very earliest wraparound labels that we've had. So prior to, the current times, it was almost always a square label or just a little small sticker label on it. I think there was a Sweet Pea back in the day too that only had a very small little tiny label here, and it was white wax otherwise. But Paris Amour, in this collection in general, it was this plus I think French Baguette, Cafe au lait, and Sweet Macaron. There was just this Paris collection of 4 candles that had the Paris Amour, and then it was an extension of the Paris Amour theme by having 3 of a striped wraparound label on it. So it was interesting because back in the day you just really didn't get wraparound labels on it. So I just remember looking at this and being oh, this is kind of pretty and very unique. And so we do have Paris Amour right here. This one has, I think it's been repackaged as an updated label at some point. A sweet romantic infusion of sparkling raspberry, French tulips, and apple blossom layer with notes of pink champagne. This was also 1950, and this must have been it was poured at the end of 2012 for, I guess, spring of 2013, maybe. I could be mistaken, though. But yeah, I love Paris Amour. I'm not going to go into all the fragrances too much just because this video is already so long as it is. But yeah, Paris Amour is is like floral and juicy. It's a fruity floral basically from them, but there's like a sophistication or very like heavy, like sort of Parisian perfuminess to it that I really enjoy. I remember getting these 3 of them for 75% off. I remember there was one batch that burned absolutely abysmally, but then the later batch, I think they corrected it and it burnt much better. So here's some more right there. We then have Hello Beautiful. This must have been 2016, so a long gap since the Paris Amour to the next candle that I have. Hello Beautiful, and that's what that looks like. So yeah, just like a regular sticker label on it, and this one had like that sort of geometric apricot ball lid on it. 2016 of spring. Say hello to beautiful fresh flowers picked just for you. Enjoy a bouquet of white gardenia, jasmine petals, and pink nectarine. This one burned really grody and nasty. It's kind of a struggle, and it gets like really brown and murky. I think I actually had to cotton ball this at one point. But this is kind of like a soapy white floral fragrance. So Hello Beautiful right there. The next one we have, I remember when this one came out, like people were just all in a rage of the price increase on this. So mind you, Hello Beautiful was $22.50 at the beginning of 2016, and then we fast forward to, so I think Magic in the Air might have been a 2016, I don't remember, was it a 2016 holiday launch? Because it has a pour date of 2017, but it's the 17th day of it. So I don't know if this is a follow-up pour from the original batch, but this one was $29.50 for the sole reason that it had the juicy bejeweled sparkle lid on it. So yeah, we had $29.50 back in 2016, 2017. Almond flower, white iris, and whipped vanilla bourbon. I still love Magic in the Air. I bought many of these. I think, like, you know, as it is today, you just wait for like an equalizer sale where it's like a, you know, solid price point across the board, and then just pay for the sale price there. If you just wait it out, you can get these candles for the same price as all the other ones. But this one, yeah, did indeed have the really juicy bejeweled lid on it, and there was like matching like FFM holders that were bejeweled too, as well as candle holders. That was really fun. But this one, I think, because it has so much vanilla in it, has like turned very yellow when this was originally white. But this is really fun. I remember the sales associate saying that the like training video said that this was one of the first times that they've mixed silver and gold into one, I guess, color palette for a single fragrance launch or whatever. So that was supposed to be cool for whatever reason. So we have Magic in the Air right here. Yeah, I really enjoy this fragrance. We then have, in late 2018, a 1,000 Wishes candle right here, but this, I think, there were several repours of this as well, but this might have come out earlier, honestly. I remember, like, buying a lot of these, because this was, like, back when they were still very sparingly doing the body care candles, and I remember, like, just loving 1,000 Wishes to pieces, and, like, I was like, oh my god, I love that there's a candle of it, and I think there were multiple variations of this, because I think I had one that had, like, the curling wicks that did not do so well, and then there was a revisionary pour that had the core wicks on it, and that's the one that I stocked up on, and it did great, and it threw well as well. This one, as you can see, has kind of turned yellow as well. I think it's 1,000 Wishes, I think it's still out. Sparkling champagne, crystal peonies, and almond creme, and if it is not out, you can get it as blue, jasmine, and currant, such an insulting repackage. In the Neutrals collection, it's the same fragrance. So this one has stood the test of time, although I guess they're trying to experiment with it being a different name and packaging on it. So 1,000 Wishes right there. I just love like the fun, juicy, holographic action on there. So yeah. Moving on, we have In the Stars from 2018. We're up to $24.50 now, and this is the end of 2018, so it must have been a 2018 holiday single fragrance launch. So In the Stars right there. This one also has been repackaged many times as well. This one had a gold lid on it, bergamot, champagne, night blooming, water lily, and pink salted amber. This one was also quite strong. I do have to say, I never really enjoy this fragrance. There's like a peppery agar wood or whatever it is that I really don't care for, and like when I smell it on somebody out in the streets, I'm just like, ugh. But In the Stars right there. Moving on, we have the now iconic 2019 Spring Gingham launch in the original packaging. So this one has also been updated when Gingham Gorgeous and Vibrant and Fresh all came out. But this was the original packaging, as you can see right here. Blue Freesia, White Peach, Fresh Clementine with essential oils. We all know what this is. This is so strong. I'm actually not a huge fan of Gingham. There's something that's just very artificial and like chemically about it that I don't love. And the candle is also so immensely strong that I just get like so nauseous after like an hour of burning it. So I have still had this candle and held on to it. But the Gingham marketing and the packaging and the branding of it, like in conjunction with Bath & Body Works' brand, is just absolutely excellent. Masterpiece. Like the whole Gingham Gorgeous Vibrant Fresh launch was absolutely snatched. So like kudos to them on the marketing and the design of the Gingham line, and the fact that it still comes out and it's kind of like a signature fragrance for them. Despite me not liking the fragrance, I can still appreciate the Gingham line, so to speak. So Gingham right here. We then have a standalone packaging of the 2019 Spring Rose Candle right here. This kind of came and went. It was just didn't get a lot of fanfare. I think this might have originally came out as just the plain rose in the, which is also what this is called, in the test rose collection with like rosewater, meringue, and lavender rose and everything. I remember picking up many of them there, and then I remember seeing also this version that went wide to all stores, and I was like, oh, that's kind of pretty packaging, and I like rose. So this isn't actually one of my favorite rose fragrances, just because the jasmine petals and the creamy musk kind of overpower the rose water, that it's more like soapy and clean rather than like perfumey, powdery floral rose, but it's still a floral fragrance nonetheless. So yeah, it just kind of just smells plasticky and soapy. Not my favorite, but it's still like a nice kind of fresh fragrance nonetheless. And it's like an approachable rose, I guess, for those who might not like your more classic, mature rose. So that was rose right there. Moving on, oh my god, I loved how snatched this packaging was. 2019 holiday, and it is Into the Night. Oh my gosh, and then like now when they re-pour this, they have like the silver lid on it sometimes, or I think it's just been completely updated to a different look as well. But this one was so pretty because it was the black matte jar plus the juicy label on it, and then the matte black lid as well. I just think it's like the devil is in the details, truly, when it comes to things like this. And because, you know, I design candles as well, this is like something that I pay attention to, where it's like, you might think a lid is trivial, but no, it's truly the devil's in the details. And it's just like the fact that the lid also matches the jar, and like just the color combination and everything of it is just excellent. Sugared raspberry, velvet rose petals, shimmering amber, and creamy musk. This was when they were starting to get on the rose kick, so I appreciated that, but this was still kind of like a more smoky, mature rose, very mature. And there's like a smokiness to it, but I think I still kind of appreciate it Into the Night. And even when I smell this, it just has a very like nostalgic time frame to that 2019 era of holiday. So yeah, I do like Into the Night. I think the black on it is just absolutely just gorgeous for the fact that it's called Into the Night. And then we have, I guess we jump to then holiday of 2020. So was there a whole, let's see. Oh, well, 2020 was that year. Perfect Peony would have been in there, and that forever reminds me of, you know, that time frame. So I think I finished that and tossed it. So Perfect Peony, I was like, that was a really long time for them to go without a single fragrance launch candle, but Perfect Peony was the one that came out like at a very unfortunate March time frame. And then so I guess we then skip to You're the One, and yeah, because I remember heading out to Candle Day with my mask on and everything, and I think I bought You're the One or something like that. So You're the One, holiday 2020 right there, that's what that looks like. See, and I think with these, again, the follow-up pours on it tend to have the silver lids on it. It just does not look as well as the color match lid on it. It's like, always try to grab the original pour that has the original lid on it if you are a stickler for details like that. But we have You're the One, white birch, velvety rose, and a drop of strawberry nectar. Similar mature type of rose fragrance with a little bit of sweetness. Very like classic department store old-fashioned perfume was what I got from this. It was quite strong, not my favorite, but still fun nonetheless. It was just weird because I think we were all speculating this seemed like it was supposed to be for Valentine's Day, and we're thinking because of the events of 2020, maybe it got postponed into a holiday release. I still don't know like if that's truly the case or not, but You're the One right here. Moving on to spring of 2021, we have Open Sky. We're up to 2550 now. I think this was a huge miss with the packaging. I don't understand what went on here. It's so grody. It like looks like it was like a peach Bellini and a Fiji White Sands that also came in a similar luminary jar, and this one got a luminary jar rather than like the matching packaging to the body care, and I always thought that was so weird, and it came with a hammered lid as well. Open Sky is, did I read this? Fresh air, wild blackberry, soft violet, and a cloud of comforting vanilla. Yeah, it just kind of smells like baby wipes and berries. It's just, this was so totally take it or leave it for me. And this like kicked off that run of the same smelling friggin' like blackberry plus vanilla floral trend that they were like going into the ground with. Like Butterfly and Poppy were all just so similar to Open Sky. And I was just like, take it or leave it. But Open Sky right there, yeah, just my least favorite, like I think signature fragrance launch packaging, to be honest. Moving on, we have the like fall into the holiday season of 2021, and that is Fairytale. I remember people just going absolutely goo goo gaga over this packaging, and like it kind of has like a Alice in Wonderland, a slightly steampunk type of feel to it. So I understand the appeal. If it would focus, cooperate. No, okay. Let's see. Let's try that again. There we go. And that's what that looks like. It had a gold lid on it. Pomegranate nectar, fresh orange blossom, vanilla bean, and warm amber. I think there's some comparisons made to Chasing Fireflies being similar to Fairytale, and I totally get that. So kind of sister fragrances. Yeah. The Chasing Fireflies is more powdery, and this one's a little bit more warm, I would say. But this one was kind of sooty but strong, and this was supposed to be like some kind of like dupe for some Libre fragrance, which is some high-end perfume that costs a lot of money. So I remember like appreciating that I could get a similar fragrance like that in a Bath & Body Works 3-wick candle for like, you know, 10, 11, 12 bucks. So I remember kind of digging that component of it. So Fairytale right there. Really, really fun theming. We then have the absolutely beautiful Pure Wonder for holiday of 2021. I love that this got the unique one-off bespoke like that, I don't even know what to call that. It's like almost like a matte metallic finish on it, I guess. And it had the color matched pink on it. Absolutely snatched. I love when they do the extra mile of giving a single fragrance launch candle a unique lid that's like special to that candle. Iced Rosé, Star Jasmine, Warm White Amber with natural essential oils. This was very much like in the line of like You're the One and 1,000 Wishes and those type of fragrances, and I didn't mind it, but I didn't have to pick up more than one. But it's actually quite juicy and festive. I kind of like this. And the packaging with the glitter details on that, oh my god, it's just absolutely beautiful. I love that. And I also find it interesting that a lot of the single fragrance launch candles, for whatever reason, don't get a shrink wrap, but just get a wrap. So like it doesn't go beyond the edges here. It like just does this thing. I don't know if that's an intentional thing or like how they decide if it should get a full shrink or just a wrap. But interesting note. So Pure Wonder right there. We then have Butterfly. I remember smelling this one and being like, girl, this is such a freaking repackage of Open Sky. Why does it exist? But of course, you know, the masses always prove me wrong, and I think I read somewhere in their like, you know, quarterly reports or whatever that Butterfly was the most successful single fragrance launch of their entire Bath & Body Works history. And I'm like, of course, a fragrance that's like so similar to something they've had before, but put like juicy butterfly packaging on it and everyone falls for it. So clearly this was very popular, so I'm in the minority, and that's why you oftentimes cannot go off of what the very vocal minority on YouTube and social media says, because it can be very much different from what the masses feel. So Butterfly right here, and that's what that looks like. I love that this one had the gold non-brush lid on it, but like the shiny one. Oh, I love that. Raspberry Nectar, Iris Petals, and Airy Vanilla. This was $26.50, and this must have been a 2022 spring launch, and a rehash of Open Sky. I mean, there are slight differences. It's not the same exact fragrance, but it's just so immensely similar. And then the 1, 2, 3 punch on it was that Poppy then came out afterwards that smelled so immensely similar too. I will always have like kind of bitter memories of this. Fun little side story. A friend at the time, I remember we were out having dinner one day and we both really enjoyed Bath & Body Works and we were excited for the Poppy launch that was supposed to happen on a Monday for the new floor set. And I remember both of us just talking about it, being excited about like, oh my god, yeah, we're gonna go together to BBW on Monday to get the Poppy candle. I think we had like an exchange candle ready to, you know, exchange out for Poppy and everything. And then, of course, the so-called friend, on Sunday Monday, before the Monday, goes right before closing when they're doing like floor set early, or they ask for Poppy out of the bag or something, and then snag Poppy the day before the day we were actually supposed to go to the floor set and smell all the newness together. And I'm like, seriously? Like, you couldn't wait like, what, 24 hours for us to be able to enjoy Poppy together and experience and cherish the new floor set moment? And then they also texted it to me, so I guess they like, I guess they weren't like secretive about it, they were upfront about it, but they also never really apologized for it either. And I was just like, the Poppy candle, I will always have that memory of like, being excited to go to the floor set with the friend, and then smelling it together, but then they ended up buying the candle ahead of time, and they just couldn't wait less than a day for us to get it together. And the thing is, like, that's not one of the only moments that has happened with that person. So, you know, it started becoming a recurring theme. So, the friend at the time. So, Poppy right here, and that's what that was. Beautiful packaging, gorgeous. I think this is true. The packaging was really the only reason I grabbed it, and because I have been collecting the SFLs for so long. Fresh Morning Dew, Wild Poppy, Sugared Rhubarb, and Juicy Pear. And that's what that looked like. Another variation of Butterfly and Open Sky is all I can say. So Poppy right there. Moving on, this must have been the fall release for, so they were like, I guess this year was when it really started kicking into high drive, all the SFL candles, and like for many years prior to this time frame, I remember always saying like, you know, BBW is one of their greatest opportunities is the fact that they have cross-category fragrances, and so like, you know, if you like it in body care, there's a good chance you might also want it in candle, and hand soap, and wallflower, and I was just, remember always begging for more body care releases. And so this was a time frame when they finally actually started doing that a lot, and so I was so appreciative of it. But we have Midnight Amber Glow right here. This one always smells like nail polish to me, but fun theming and mood on it that I always appreciated. Smooth Amber, Caramel Latte, and Vanilla Bourbon. Yeah, I think this one was always like a very medium throw, but I actually kind of started growing to enjoy the shower gel afterwards, but it smells like vanilla nail polish to me. And then we have a Fall 2022 Fall in Bloom, Juicy Plum, Wild Blooms, and Velvet Moss. And it's interesting because this is now in the faceted collection as body care and like with leaves and Black Cherry Merlot. But when it's like mixed in, like it feels like it gets demoted when it turns from a single fragrance launch into something that just gets mixed in with all the other ones. And it's like, I think Saltwater Breeze has also gotten demoted. And so it's just, once again, it's interesting from like a consumer and marketing standpoint that when something goes from a single fragrance launch into a collection of 3 or 4, it feels like a demotion. So it's just kind of like, oh, womp womp, like Fall in Bloom is not, I guess, worthy enough to be a standalone fragrance, and now is in a collection. But of course, Fall in Bloom exists as body care this year, but it doesn't have its own candle. But this was also so pretty. I think people were saying this was supposed to smell like Burberry Her. I have no idea if it does or not, but I also like that this got a like nice lid on it as well. Yeah. Take it or leave it on the fragrance. Moving on, we have Holiday of 2022, so that was just last year. We have Dream Bright right here, and this was also pretty fun and juicy too. Super bejeweled and awesome. It would have been awesome if this also had like a similar visual lid like Magic in the Air. Would that even look pretty? Maybe if like, yeah, it doesn't look bad. Maybe if like the color of the jewels were tweaked a little bit, or there was like more of like a darker blue hue to it, but yeah. But that would have also drove up the price to like, I don't know, $32.50 at that point. I actually really always enjoyed this one. This was super juicy. I did a full review on it, so I don't really have to talk about it. But Sapphire Berries, Night Blooming Orchid, and Crystallized Vanilla. And then what was interesting was that year we also got like a companion male single fragrance launch, like the men's collection of After Dark. And so we've had men's collections before, but they usually don't get like a special different packaging on it. It just has like the men's collection standard look on it. But After Dark was being promoted as like kind of like a single fragrance launch. Spice Bergamot, Amber, and Smooth Tonka. It's like a variation of Black Tie to me. It's another cologne candle. It exists. After Dark right there. Moving on, we have 2013 spring, but it was poured at the end of 2012, and that's Among the Clouds. Oh my god, I love this packaging too. It's so limited to Justice Claire's Beanie Boos action. Oh my god, it just speaks to my inner teenage girl, or preteen girl rather. And then the fact that it had the neon matte pink lid on it, and the fact that they like, you know, made a special pink lid for this, just, oh my god, as a designer, it just makes me so excited. So Among the Clouds right there. Whipped Berry Skies and Wild Berry Skies and Whipped Vanilla Clouds. The fragrance was take it or leave it. It's just some like perfumey floral berry fragrance. But the packaging and I just remember everything was so bright and juicy and fun during that floor set. So yeah, Among the Clouds are right there. But once again, it's like this fragrance I really wouldn't care for otherwise, but because it comes out as a single fragrance launch and gets its candle, I'm like, oh my god, I have to buy it. So yeah, power of marketing. We then have Gingham Gorgeous, and that's what that looks like. This was, I felt like, a missed opportunity that I had a boring silver lid on it. Like, I guess what would have looked good with this? Ooh, yeah, oh my god, that's so much better already. They could have just took the gold lid from Butterfly, because the gold kind of matches the gold accents of the Gorgeous foil right there. Oh, that would have been nice. Or do we have like a pink lid on it? So this is like the Pure Wonder lid on it. It's not quite a matte, so it doesn't look as good. I think the gold is probably the best option. And then we have like the neon pink. I mean, maybe if they had a pink that was closer, like color match to the pink in here, it might have looked good. But I think the gold is probably my favorite in terms of, yeah, that looks much better than the boring silver. But in any case, beautiful, beautiful packaging. I just remember being like completely, like, my breath was just taken away when I first saw the product photo for this. Unfortunately, Fresh and Vibrant did not get candles, and it was like Gorgeous was being promoted as the main leading one. I wouldn't mind having all the other ones that I would have most certainly bought then. Pink Strawberries, Peach Nectar, and Peony Balloons. These are recent, so I don't need to review the fragrance, but Gingham Gorgeous right there. Moving on, we have the like sort of spring into summer getaway fragrance. That's Coco Paradise right here. Once again, love the color matched lid on that. Just like the bronze action of this was just so beautiful. Salted coconut mannoy, sugar neroli, and bronze sandalwood. Actually, really enjoy this. So I had Hibiscus Paradise, and I remember really enjoying that candle, but only buying one and never buying a backup. So I was like, I'm not gonna make that mistake again. And Coco Paradise was very similar to Hibiscus Paradise, so I think I have another one in backup of this. And the wallflower of this is like surprisingly very floral. Oh my god, exquisite. Coco Paradise right there. Moving on to like literally just like very recently, we have the duo of Wild Sand and Endless Sea. And so we have that right here. And this one got a juicy color matched lid on it, which I appreciated. But then for whatever reason, Endless Sea, like this one has the prettier packaging for me. The waves and the blue action and the fact that it's like, you know, has like a clear cutout there. Oh my god, just gorgeous. So Endless Sea is fresh bergamot, saltwater lily, ocean driftwood. And like these, for whatever reason, got jacked all the way up to $29.95 for reasons unknown, when Coco Paradise was literally just $26.95. And like the label isn't that different, so I really don't understand. And then Wild Sand, which is my least favorite, prickly pear fruit, cactus flower, and warm agave nectar. I don't know, it's just like this warm like pear fruit sitting out in the sun type of fragrance. I don't care for that one. Endless Sea has grown on me in the way that it's kind of like a clean floral, but this also just begs for a juicier lid, but I just don't know what color it would get, and maybe that's why they made it silver. I don't know, but Endless Sea right there. And then finishing up, we have, I guess these are still, they're not really single fragrance launches because they came out in a duo, but they're still body care candles, so I threw them in there. And so it's Everlasting Magic right there, and this one's like Halloween, so it has a, you know, juicy lid on it. But I guess this is just another, I think Halloween gets more decor-oriented, you know, flair to it, that it's probably going to be mostly for Halloween. But like, if these lids really did so well, and like maybe the increase to $36.95, like if they actually saw the difference in profits from that, you know, they could actually entertain and go forward and look into, I guess, doing decorative lids for even non-Halloween candles. I don't know if they will, but like maybe even for like holiday, they might start doing juicy lids. But it's just interesting how it kind of developed. But we have Midnight Spell. We have like just talked about this. I don't really have to go into it. And then the Everlasting Magic as well. Two totally underwhelming fragrances that I truly only bought for the juicy packaging and lids, which once again speaks to the power of packaging and design. And lastly, we get to the current single fragrance launch, which is Chasing Fireflies right here, and that's what that looks like. And yeah, this one has a white lid on it, and it has a nice, like, sort of soft finish on it. Golden pear, jasmine blooms, and illuminated woods. This one's also $29.95 for a completely unknown reason, because it just has a regular plain lid on it, and there's really nothing extra about this wraparound label, so I don't know. I don't mind this. It's very floral and powdery, but I kind of like that when I'm digging something floral and powdery. Not super strong, but still medium and adequate enough that I enjoy it. So Chasing Fireflies right there, once again, does have similarities to Fairytale. And then I think our next single fragrance launch will be Luminous, which is coming out in all the forms, and then it has a single wick signature as well as a 3-wick as well, and we've already kind of seen photos of that floating around, so Luminous will then complete the collection once I get that one next. But also just want to throw in, we do have like body care fragrances that like are kind of single fragrance launches, but I wanted to illustrate the fact that these get mixed in with a candle collection of like many, so they don't get their own unique, exclusive, bespoke packaging, and as a result, they don't seem as juicy or collectible. And so like Endless Weekend comes out all the time, was originally that Coastal Cool collection with like, you know, no label or anything on it, but we also have Endless Weekend here, juicy, awesome fragrance, but it's kind of like, if this had its dedicated own SFL packaging and candle on it, I would be like more excited about it. But because it just comes out in a collection with all the other ones, you know, it's just kind of like, okay, it's just another candle. And the same with like Rainbow Waves was a single fragrance launch, I guess, for the Pride collection. But it just got mashed in with all the other paint stroke candles. So it's just kind of like, okay, it exists, but it's not as juicy and exclusive as a dedicated SFL candle. But yes, this is just the stuff that I geek out on and think about all day. So hope you enjoyed this retrospective and walk down memory lane of all 27 single fragrance launch candles that were in my collection. Let me know your thoughts. Do you even care about body care? I know a lot of people are just like, I don't care about body care candles, so I don't collect them. But I know there are some people who do enjoy the body care juiciness, so let me know all your thoughts down below. It's also fun with the body care candles is that usually it's not a repackage. So like if something comes out in a collection of, you know, 6 or 8 or whatever it is, there's a good chance it's probably a repackaged candle, but like a single fragrance launch has, I guess, like the implication that there's like research and development and product development going behind it with a perfumer, and they come up with a mood and everything, so it feels more unique and well thought out. And so I guess I appreciate that as well. And because it is a new body care fragrance, therefore it should be a new fragrance. So it's kind of like the one shining new fragrance in a sea of repackages. So that's why I also appreciate the single fragrance launch candles as well. But yes, I think I have rambled on enough about SFLs in single fragrance launches. You're probably sick of hearing that term by now. So I will log off now, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.